We're live, rolling. Hello, live, Country Roads Creeps.
Hello. We've previously explored ghost stories belonging to Concord University, Marshall University, and West Virginia University. Today, we'll be taking a look at even more haunted colleges and universities throughout the state of West Virginia. 9 of them, to be exact.
Jeez.
This is
Country Roads Creeps. You told me today, you're like, I'm very close to labor. We're going to keep this one short.
It is short. It's not detailed.
And then you were like, 9 colleges. I was like, whoa.
So for the listeners, like Shane just said, this is a pre-recorded episode. You're hearing it probably towards the end of August, maybe beginning of September. We're recording it at the start of June. I am incredibly pregnant. I'm about to go into labor at any given moment. So we are gonna just power through this, and then we'll do our chit-chat at the end if I'm not having a baby yet, because it's really up in the air. Okay, so all of this information is again coming from southernspiritguide.org, where I got the info from the first part 1 of this that I did.
Oh, okay.
Really cool. So check that website out. There's a lot of info on that.
Oh, I did want to say something before we start.
Okay.
Because this is the last episode that's going to come out, like you said.
Before we get back to it. Yeah.
Some of them,
maternity leave.
The way, like, I'm editing and scheduling, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I did them all in order. So, but that's
okay.
I know for sure this will be the last one. So, when this one comes out, the following episode is, I guess, going to be a me episode.
Yeah, it should be.
I'll have a surprise.
Okay, that's exciting.
So keep out for a surprise when the normally scheduled episodes are back.
Right. We really are cutting it close here, because we had originally planned on recording another one of your banked episodes next week, but I don't think I'm going to make it that far.
Did we really?
Yeah, the one that we did Saturday with you was going to be next Monday.
I thought that was going to be a regularly scheduled one.
Mm-mm.
Well, it would have been, because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we weren't going to record that until next Monday.
Yeah.
So we're cutting it close here.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to make it, hopefully. We'll see.
So, okay, let's go.
All right. We are starting
9
with
colleges.
Bethany College. This is in Brooke County. And like I said, all of these are in West Virginia. So I'll just tell you what county they're in. You ever heard of Bethany College?
Yep.
We're going to start with a building on their campus called the Alexander Campbell Mansions and God's Acre Cemetery. So this mansion is the former home, and the cemetery is where Alexander Campbell is buried. He was the founder of Bethany College, and the college owns the property now. And people say that Campbell has been seen in a study building on the property, like his ghost has been seen in a study building.
Yeah.
And they've also seen his son, Wickline, who was drowned nearby when he was young. They see him walking around in the mansion. Then we have a Cochran Hall. This was a residence hall built in 1910. It said that there's a spirit in the first floor guest apartment, but the identity is unknown. Sorry, that was my phone buzzing this time.
I thought that was me.
I gotta take the blame for that one this episode.
Man, we're really not professionals at all.
Now, we also have the Grace Phillips Johnson Memorial Visual Arts Center. That really rolls off the tongue.
Say it again.
Grace Phillips Johnson Memorial Visual Arts Center.
No, 5 times fast.
No. This was originally the Irvin Gymnasium in 1919, but now, as the name states, it's used for visual arts classes. And security guards have reported seeing Grace Johnson, whom it was named after, in the building. And this is creepy. There's also claims that the eyes in her portrait there that's hanging up will follow people around. The eyes in the portrait will move.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That it's kind of funny to think about that, but imagine if you were like a security guard working there at night and you feel like the eyes in that portrait are following you around.
What if they
look at you?
Not like followed you side to side, but they like looked you up and down like she's checking you out?
Would that be funny or scary?
Both. There's a like a, I guess you'd call it a phenomenon of paintings where the way the eyes are painted and the perspective in the painting, if you look at them from different angles, they will appear to like kind of follow you around. And I don't know exactly what causes that, or if it's just like a trick of the eye or something, but
Like
it's
an optical illusion.
yeah. But that's like a common thing that people report of paintings that are like it, and they've studied it, and apparently it has something to do with like the way the perspective is painted on to
Yeah.
the face. So
This next one is sad, and I should have said this at the start. A lot of these are sad, kind of like we did in part one. A lot of ghost stories, the origins are sad. So then also at Bethany College, they have the Old Main Clock Tower. In the past, a student committed suicide here by jumping from the tower, and so she's seen occasionally standing in it. Phillips Hall is a 1929 residence hall, and it's haunted by a girl named Sarah, who was a student that hung herself in the attic. And then it's also has the spirit of a sailor that died there. It's unclear if he was there visiting a student or if he lived there and was sneaking out of the building when it was being used as Navy housing during World War II. And I don't know how he died, but somehow he was there and died in the building, and he is seen. So that's a little weird.
Sailor. Is his name Jerry?
I don't know. All right, we're going to move on to Bluefield State College. This is in the town of Bluefield in Mercer County, not to be confused with Bluefield College, also in the town of Bluefield, but in Tazewell County, Virginia. So there's Bluefield State College and there's Bluefield College, two totally different schools. Both in a town called Bluefield, but in different counties and different states. And they're like very close together.
Yeah.
So easy to mix them up. At Bluefield State College, they have a residence hall called Mahood Hall, and it is haunted by a little girl. And we've said before, child ghosts are automatically scarier. Students have reported for several years that they will wake up and be face to face with her, but then she disappears quickly. Yeah, isn't that scary?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I don't like anything that's suddenly in your face, like waking up to a ghost being in your face, or like, you know, like when you're like if you're washing your hair or your face in the shower,
and
then you have to
close your eyes.
and you got to close your eyes, and then you got to get the soap out of your eyes, and then you like kind of open them real slow just in case.
Yeah, that's
like,
very terrifying.
I don't think my house is haunted, but just in case, I'm going to open really slow,
Like peek out,
like one at a time, just
Hope
in
nothing's
case.
there. Now, in 2010, the Black Diamond Paranormal Society went there to this hall to investigate it. Supposedly, they have a short video of a figure passing by an open doorway in a building that was empty. I do have that video to show you. Of course.
I don't want to see it.
No,
Just skip it.
Of course, it's not great quality because that's how all of these evidence videos are. I mean, there is something in it, but it's hard to say what it would be. So I'm going to let Shane watch this really quick and then we'll get his opinion.
Okay. Are you going to send this to me so that I can
Yeah, I will.
post it on the, like a link or something on the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
On our
Looking
Instagram and our Facebook photo dumps and stuff. Yeah.
close here at the doorway, kind of at the end of the hall. Ready?
No.
Get ready.
Okay. So this is just like a hallway shot. And, and there's
There's something, but like,
something moving. Yeah.
and so I guess this building was empty and that's where they were doing their investigations. It's not a little girl. It's tall.
Yeah, that looks like a man.
Yeah.
So,
and it looks to me like it kind of comes there and stays there. It doesn't look like it passes through to me.
yeah, it looks like it just kind of like half steps around the corner of a.
And it's like staring.
I can't tell what that is.
Yeah.
And like, I'll either, if I can pull this as like maybe like a screen recording and put it on our Instagram, or I'll at least post a link that, on like our stories and stuff and save it as a highlight that people can see. But I can't tell at the end of the hallway if that's like through a doorway or if that's a mirror at the end of the hall. Because if it's a mirror, then it would be one of the crew members. And that would explain it.
Right. They say it's a doorway, but
So
it's hard to tell. It does kind of look like a doorway to me, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I can't I can't really tell what it is. If it's a
It's also
mirror,
from 14 years ago, so.
you know what I'm saying? If it's a mirror, then one of the crew members that would explain it. But if
Mhm.
it's actually a doorway, then I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But that looks too thick to be too dense to be a ghost.
Yeah, it almost looks alien-like, sort of.
Ugh.
Kind of gray. I mean, it's an interesting video, so if you're listening to this, go to our Instagram and check out where Shane has posted the video.
If I remember in 4 months.
Yeah.
Or 2 months or however long it takes to post all these episodes. Oh.
You okay?
Got pregnant burps.
I thought it was a hiccup.
Contagious. I've been drinking this, started drinking this, what's this?
Protein milk, chocolate milk, a protein shake.
Yeah, I thought this was muscle bones milk or whatever it's called. What's it called? Strength milk? What is it? I have one over here.
Muscle milk?
No, I don't. This is this too.
Well, it's by Fairlife.
The other day I had a muscle milk and it was good, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try another one because they had two. This one is 26 grams of protein,
I think there's some in our fridge.
and this one is 42 grams of protein. So if I have both of these, then I'll have 68 grams of
I think
protein.
there's a strawberry one and a
But-
coffee one in the fridge. You can have them if you want.
It tastes really good, and we've mentioned this before, but Fairlife evidently not good to their cows.
But their milk is so good.
But the milk is,
Why do they have to be mean to their cows?
I don't know, but something about abuse really makes the milk
Shane, shush.
better,
Stop.
honestly. I mean,
All right, moving on.
but I got a regular Fairlife chocolate milk to drink on my way here,
It's so good.
and I finished it, and then I cracked open one of these bad boys, protein chocolate milk.
Do you need to put the other one in the fridge?
Nah, I'm about to bust that one open too.
3 chocolate milks.
Heck yeah. I'm a fiend
Your
for chocolate
stomach's
milk.
gonna hurt.
Too late. I'm lactose intolerant. No, just kidding. I love lactose. I'm lactose tolerant, dog. Tolerant of it. Anyway,
Our next college is Davis and Elkins College. This is in Elkins and Randolph County. So we're going to start with the Graceland Inn and Conference Center. Graceland Inn is one of 2 Victorian mansions that were built as summer homes for Henry Gasaway Davis and Stephen Benton Elkins. You probably recognize those names. These guys were friends. They were both businessmen, and then they each became senators.
they also started a podcast.
Did they?
No.
They didn't.
No.
I didn't mean, let me explain that before everyone thinks I'm an idiot. I didn't think that these 2 guys started a podcast. I thought maybe there was a podcast out there called Davis and Elkins that you were like referencing different guys, Davis and Elkins.
You said the name Gasaway, didn't you?
Yeah, Henry Gasaway Davis.
His middle name is Gasaway.
Yeah, and Stephen Benton. Elkins.
There's a town called Gasaway, and there's a Pizza Hut on the interstate there.
Yep.
Gasaway Pizza Hut. And I like have the sudden realization that like what I'm saying, if you've never like driven past there or like realized, you would have no idea what I'm talking about or like why that's even closely like special to me at all. But on my birthday, I went to my birthday when I was going to college. I went to my orientation at WVU, and it was on my birthday. And then on the way back from that, I got Pizza Hut at the Gasaway Pizza Hut, and it's kind of disgusting inside. So, but it's a Pizza Hut, so
Good story.
they're all disgusting inside. It's a special location.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's the only thing in that town.
Fair enough. All right, they founded Davis and Elkins College, obviously the namesake. Graceland was the summer home for Henry Davis, and it got donated to help create the campus. It's said to be haunted by his daughter, Grace Davis. In 2008, a paranormal investigator named Chris Fleming, whose name sounds super familiar. I feel like we might have talked about him in a different episode somewhere along the way.
Maybe.
But does that sound familiar to you? Chris Fleming, paranormal investigator? I feel like he's come up in our notes before. But anyway, he did a walkthrough with some students, and while they were in there, they saw gas burners in the kitchen turn on by themselves, which is dangerous.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Hate that a lot. Hate that so much.
Now, the other mansion was called Halliehurst. This was the one made for Stephen Elkins. It started being used as a women's residence hall in the 1950s, and all of the reported encounters with ghosts or whatever in this building are positive. So people say that the spirits will help them. Like if they're about to fall or have an accident, there will be phantom hands that keep them from being injured.
Ooh.
Will like stop them or catch them or whatever.
Are they slimy?
No, probably cold.
Full of ectoplasm.
They're just invisible. But yeah, so all the reports there are good.
How's your slushy frost going?
It was actually pretty good after we fixed it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell that story?
So I went to Sheets. I asked Hannah, we usually eat before we do a podcast.
And I've been craving slushies.
Yeah. I asked her if she wanted anything for dinner, and she said no. And then as soon as I left, I pulled out of the parking lot and got a text, and she said, if you could give me a slushie.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I want
it's
lately.
like, I'm driving, and there's like 4 intersections that I have to get through. I'm not going to be texting through. So I called, and I was like, which slushie do you want, and where do you want it from? And she gave me like 3 options. I had to go to Sheets to get gas anyway, so I used they call it like a frosty way or something, freezy way.
Yeah, freeze way.
Anyway, so I'm standing there trying to figure this machine out, and it just says, it's got a handle that says push, and it's coming out all liquidy. Like, it almost looks like it's frothy like normal soda would be if you just put it in and it carbonates up. It gets fizzy. So I was like, well, that's probably wrong. So maybe I need some of the freezy. This is just the way, but I need the freezy. So, and I'm like looking for that, and I see it start to like, earlier I used the word coagulate, and Hannah didn't like that, but that's...
Yeah, don't ever describe something I'm about to drink as coagulating.
That's what it was. It's
disgusting.
Hardening up.
Pick a different verb.
Getting bigger. And so I was like, oh, it does it automatically. So I fill it to the brim. Completely to the brim. And had trouble putting the lid on. And then I wasn't paying attention on my way back. And... I got here, and it was
Can you hand it to me?
all Pepsi with like one.
It was just
like a
regular
fist.
Pepsi, just liquid,
Yeah.
no ice. There was like a
Like-
little tiny island of the ice floating at the
It
top.
was like a baby fist size
I was like, what
chunk of ice, and it's like,
happened
I was
to
like,
it?
where'd all the frosty go? And Hannah was looking at me like she was about to
I
cry.
was so sad. And Dirk said, put it in the blender with some ice. You can save it. And he was right.
Yeah.
We did
So
save it.
Fixed it.
Yep. And it's good now. So thank you. But it was just so funny.
Yeah.
You turned around and handed it to me, and it was just like a regular cup of Pepsi. I was like, what the heck?
I was like, man,
Where's the slush?
Yeah. I was like, man, this freezy way really let me down.
But it's okay. We fixed it.
So,
Crisis averted.
but they got Fairlife. What's this?
We're not talking about your milk
Core
anymore.
Power 42
That
grams.
has had enough airtime.
protein.
Okay.
This episode brought to you by Fairlife.
Glenville State College. This is in Glenville in Gilmer County.
I've been there a few
Mm-hmm.
times.
So we'll start with Clark Hall. In October 2011, Betsy Barr, who is the wife of the college's president, Peter Barr, wrote an article in the college newsletter called The Barr Bulletin. And her article was about Sarah Louisa Lynn, more commonly known as Sis Lynn. So Sis Lynn is the college's most famous ghost, and this is a very sad story. So
Cool.
she graduated in 1877 when the college was still named Glenville Normal School.
Like Concord?
Yeah, Concord Normal School. Or I guess that was the normal thing to do at that time. She later owned a boarding house, and she was murdered there in 1919. And the website said she was bludgeoned to death.
Ooh.
So that's horribly sad. The boarding house was eventually torn down, and a women's residence hall was built in its place and named Verona Maple Hall. And Cicely was seen there for years until the building was replaced with Clark Hall. And it's believed that her spirit is still there and responsible for making lots of unexplained noise, but she's not really like seen in that building as much.
That is, yeah, that's sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's a worse word, bludgeon or coagulate?
Coagulate.
Hmm.
That's gross. Not that bludgeoned is not gross, but I really don't like the word coagulate.
I don't like the word bludgeoned to death. That phrase is like
Yeah, that's pretty horrible.
really brings to like forward of mind a graphic image of like, golly,
Yeah.
really, like bludgeon sounds like the kind of word that was made up on the spot to describe something that was a really heinous thing that somebody did to somebody else. That's like, they're looking at a body like, what happened here? And the guy was like, he was bludgeoned. And they're like, wow, you really have a grasp of the English language. And he's like, sure do.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the first time it was ever used.
Okay, and then we have the Harry B. Heflin Administration Building. This one's kind of cool. So legend has it that a bell in that building would just ring itself 13 times, but it recently got removed. Like, why are we removing the sentient bell? Let it be.
Yeah.
Let it ring itself 13 times. That's neat. But it got removed. However, inside the building, you can still see lights flickering and hear whispers. And if you leave like keys and doorknobs, they'll start to jiggle and jingle on their own, which is cool.
Question.
I probably don't have the answer, but ask it.
If it was really ringing by itself, how often did it do that? Every day? Every week?
I don't know. Good question, though.
Because if it was doing it regularly, then you would think that they would have some like study people go in and look at it and be like, okay, well, so we know that it's not hooked up to electricity, so that it's not like swinging by itself on a motor.
Yeah.
And we know that people aren't going up there to ring it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
what's making it ring?
And then that would be like
Ghost.
proof of something paranormal happening to the bell that a lot of people would have
Do you
been.
see my stomach moving right now? She's going crazy from that slushy.
Yeah. She's probably got brain freeze.
Probably. We got to keep going. Finish that thought quick.
So I was just going to say that would be proof of something paranormal that's happening that a lot of people are all experiencing at the same time and knowing that what it is. And then the same thing with the door keys. If you leave them and they jingle by themselves, then you would expect that you would be able to like record that somehow or like, you know what I'm saying? What are you Googling?
More about the bell.
Oh.
But that's kind of part of these ghost stories is a lot of them are just told and retold and passed down and are not necessarily true, but that's cool if it is true.
Right.
It's hard to find details for a lot of this stuff, kind of like with the Concord ones.
It's hard to find details for a lot of our episodes where it's like...
Yeah, we're just telling stories here.
Like, really all of our episodes should come with the natural disclaimer of like, this is based on the research that we did in the couple of weeks leading up to the recording of the episode.
Uh-huh.
And the sources don't always agree with each other. And even down to like news articles and newspapers don't necessarily agree with each other at the time that they were written. So like,
yeah,
it's like one of that was like one of the big things that I mentioned in the Miami-Dade shootout episode that we did, where it's like none of those sources were, and throughout history, people have written,
they don't agree.
Papers and books and documentaries about it, and it's like they don't even agree, like, when certain things happened or how they happened. So,
all right, next haunted building at that college is the Lewis Bennett Hall. Now, when this was a men's residence hall, people reported seeing a lady in white. like we talked about at Concord.
A lot of those stories.
There is. Yeah, there is.
Should do.
A Lady in White episode.
Yeah. What's it called? La Llorona?
That's a movie, isn't it? Is that the thing that's about?
I believe so. I think that's like an entity.
Okay. Well, we'll look into that. This hall has now been converted to offices, and the lady is not seen anymore, but some unexplained phenomena still happens there. I imagine that was things like lights flickering, disembodied voices, that kind of stuff. Then we have the Old Glenville Cemetery. And remember earlier I was telling you about Sis Lynn a second ago?
Yeah.
She was buried there, and she's not seen so much in that residence hall anymore, but she has been spotted in that cemetery. So she's kind of like moved a little bit. And also there is Pickens Hall. Students in this hall report hearing furniture move around and marbles rolling across the floor. Now, anytime I hear in these stories, like we hear furniture being moved around over our heads, like, couldn't that just be people moving furniture? Like, that's not scary to me. If you're in a residence hall, living with other people,
Yeah.
furniture is going to be moved around. The marbles rolling across the floor is a little weirder, but that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me personally.
Typical upstairs neighbor activities, honestly.
Yeah. I think that was in the part 1 episode I did of this. There was a couple of things where it was like people were here, chair scraping and furniture moving. I'm like, that's pretty normal.
There was, when I lived in Morgantown, in my apartment, there was, I've told you this, it's been years ago. I don't know if you remember, but I lived in my apartment, it was 3 guys. And above us was an apartment with 3 girls. And one of them I would see all the time. And we ended up having a class together and we talked a little bit here and there. And we kind of hung out a few times, nothing serious. And then we started hearing the upstairs on the weekends. They would all like get really drunk and fight with their boyfriends. And then there would be like broken glass sounds of like throwing cups across. And I was like, never mind talking to these girls. I'm going to have a plate thrown at my head.
Oh my gosh. Our next college, I had not heard of this one before. This is Mount West Community and Technical College. It's in Huntington in Cabell County.
Okay.
And they have an academic building. This building was being used or started to be used as the main academic building in 2012. But before that, it was built in the 1980s to be an office building for Ashland Coal Company. And it's said to be haunted by the spirit of an employee that worked there before it became the college building, who died from a heart attack in 2002. So after his death, people reported doors opening and closing by themselves on the 4th floor where he died. Report that they feel like they're being watched and that they smell pipe tobacco randomly.
Huh.
Yep. All right, next we're talking about Shepherd University, which is in Shepherdstown, Jefferson County. I love Shepherdstown, let me tell you. It is such a cute little town. There is so much history there, and it's like you can walk around in the main part by the school, and they have a really cool bookstore and a bakery and a smoothie shop, and it's just so neat. I love Shepherdstown.
All haunted.
That's my next note. Super haunted.
Yeah.
Super haunted.
Everything's haunted in Shepherdstown.
The whole town, the whole college,
I think
every part of it.
Harper's Ferry as well. They're up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Kind of like all of Jefferson County is mega haunted. I do want to talk about Harper's Ferry, so I called dibs on that one.
That's in a future episode. Yeah. Isn't there like a
is so cool.
Civil War cemetery or something up there?
All over the place. There was
Battleground or something. The entire West Virginia is a Civil War battleground.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I don't know if.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
There's all of these halls, residence halls in Shepherdstown have ghost stories with them. But this is unrelated. I just wanted to talk about something that's in Shepherdstown because I love it. It's called the Little House, and it is exactly what it sounds like. And it was built, this little house was built by a professor that was like training teachers. And they built it to have kids come in and they would like take care of the house, and they like ran a little farm and stuff. And it was for the student teachers to observe the kids and like help do all this hands-on stuff. And it's so cute. And you can go and look in it, and it's a fully functional house built to the dimensions of children. So like it has electricity in it. There's like a fireplace. They have a dining room table and chairs and a staircase to the second floor, but everything's small. And it's just the cutest thing in the world. I love it.
And they did that so that kids could like learn about doing household things.
Yeah, and they ran a little farm. And so the student teachers were helping the kids. They were working together, like figuring out how to run their tiny farm and take care of their house. It was just cool.
The cows children's size too?
I don't think so. I think they planted like food. Probably not animals.
Why don't they
raising animals?
Why don't they do that anymore?
I don't know, but that
Board of
really
Education,
cool.
get on it.
I guess it's harder when you have 600 kids
Get it together.
versus 12.
Figure it out.
Okay, so
What the tax dollars are for.
Shepherd University, super haunted. We'll start with Gardner Hall, another very sad story. This is haunted by a student named Patty. She was a former homecoming queen. She died there in the late 1980s when she fell in the shower and hit her head. In this hall, a portrait of Mabel Gardner, the person the building is named after, is hung upside down because it somehow soothes Patty's spirit. Keeps her calm. Don't know the connection.
What a roast.
What do you mean?
It just seems, you said that this other lady they hang upside down for picture?
Yeah.
So Patty
When it's
doesn't,
right side up, Patty gets restless.
yeah, so Patty didn't like her. So she's like, hang her upside down.
Oh,
So it's like, like imagine,
weird.
whenever, like whichever one of us goes first in our old age, hopefully, hang my picture upside down. I dare you.
You're not going in your old age. You're getting taken out by the government. Let's be real.
Shoot, next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Then there is Kinnamond Hall. Residents in this hall report seeing a young boy wearing older style clothing. He supposedly was killed in a fall at a nearby construction site, and his spirit is said to mess with students' electronics.
Ooh.
Oddly enough, that's not the only construction site accident in this section of the episode. We'll get to the next one in a minute. Then we have McMurrin Hall. This hall started to be built at the start of the Civil War. Construction had to be paused for obvious reasons, and it was unfinished for a few years after the war. But after the Battle of Antietam, and am I saying that right? Which was fought in Maryland, which is like right next to Jefferson County, they border. This was used to treat wounded soldiers. And the spirit of a soldier is often seen standing at the bell tower looking out. There are a lot of stories like that in Shepherdstown and Harper's Ferry because of the history of the region.
Yeah.
Lots of soldier ghosts because of the battles that were fought up there.
Yeah. And especially because I think, battles there, and both of those places had like a hospital kind of thing. If you can even call a Civil War hospital.
Like a field hospital, I guess, is what you would call it.
It's like just a guy with a bloody apron and a
saw.
And a saw. And like a loose pair of glasses.
Yeah. So there's lots of stories about people seeing ghostly soldiers in that region. We have Miller Hall. This was haunted by a young girl that fell from a hayloft on the property before the residence hall was built. But I guess her ghost lingers, and she is seen in the hallways.
Man.
A young girl. Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
In Shaw Hall, people report seeing a figure of a woman in the windows, but she's unidentified. They don't know who she is or why she's there. At Thatcher Hall, there's a cemetery nearby, and it's said that spirits from that cemetery haunt the B wing of this hall, so they come over and visit.
Is it because of the honey or
the B wing? That's funny. Moving on to Turner Hall, the girl from Miller Hall, the one that fell from the hayloft. Oh no, I got the hiccups.
Yeah. Well, Liberty has the hiccups of that. It's that freaking it's Pepsi.
So that girl is also seen in Turner Hall. She goes back and forth between the two.
Oh.
Turner Hall is also haunted by a construction worker that fell to his death while the hall was being built. And he fell and died on rocks that are now part of the building's basement. So that's a little creepy.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Great.
This one's also weird. We have Yellow Hall, which another name that was given for it is Entler Weltzheimer House. This is one of the oldest houses in Shepherdstown, and it is the oldest building on the campus. And it's haunted by a cobbler that was killed there in 1910. He got murdered, and people will still hear his cobbler tools tapping like he's still working.
Huh.
Take a break, bud.
He's making shoes.
Okay, you can stop. All right, we have 3 more. I'm so out of breath. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I had to say your stomach.
You can see her move.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's.
What does your cert say? Teacher off duty?
Yeah, one of the teachers there a few years ago made this for me.
Oh, okay.
Always wear it on the very last day. There were no kids today. It was just teachers. This was our last day of work.
Oh, I was wondering because when I
You're
passed
off duty.
the school, not your school, but the school near me, there was a bunch of teachers there, but the light wasn't on.
Yeah.
So I was driving fast.
Speeding through there.
The flashing light that says 15 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
school zone.
Hit the gas.
School's out for summer for our county. All right, now we have, so 3 more colleges. This is University of Charleston, which is in Charleston in Kanawha County. There is a residence hall called Riggleman Hall, and it's haunted by a couple people. One is a student that is said to have committed suicide, and the other is the former president of Morris Harvey College named Leonard Riggleman. So Morris Harvey College came before the University of Charleston, and that's who the hall is named after. These spirits are seen in the shadows, and they're blamed for odd noises heard in the hall.
Huh.
Yeah. Then we have West Virginia University Institute of Technology.
Yep.
This is in Montgomery, which is mostly in Fayette County, but it's also partly in Kanawha County. The town stretches across the county line.
Yep.
In Ratliff Hall, there are unexplained footsteps and slamming doors. And one student is said to have seen a ghostly firefighter in the building. So, don't know what that's about. Maybe there was a fire at one point and it didn't go well. I don't know. There weren't details.
Oh, he burned a bunch of courthouse documents.
Yeah. All right, and then we're wrapping it up here with West Virginia Wesleyan University.
Oh, yeah.
This is in Buchanan and Upshur County. This is scary. There is Agnes Howard Hall. It's named after a student that suddenly got really sick while they were going to school there and died at the school.
Yeah. And
students here report their beds shaking and hearing their names be whispered 3 times. Spooky.
Yeah, I've heard some of those stories out of Wesleyan.
Mm-hmm. Now, this was kind of a quick episode.
Oh,
That is the best I can do at this point in time because I can't breathe.
You're struggling.
Yeah. So, but this is the last of our pre-recorded episodes. So I will have a little baby by the time you guys are listening to this.
Yep.
And we'll be getting back on our regular, normal recording schedule. And so I'll be able to talk better and do better research when my lungs aren't so squished.
You're replacing me with the baby.
The baby. But, I mean, they'll probably hear her in the background because she's going to be here with us.
Well.
Little baby noises in the background. We'll hold her up to the mic and let her give her opinion.
Yeah. You're going to, throw up.
Spit up on the mic, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you want to say about the ghost stories or just general chit-chat now that we made it through so I can take a break to breathe?
No, very sad stories as ghost stories typically go.
Yeah, they usually don't come from something happy.
Yeah. It's
always some sort of trauma or something bad.
Kind of weird if it was like an amusement park ghost and you're like, oh, what happened? Did he fall off a ride? And they're like, no, he was having such a good time that he died.
And he stays here and continues to have a good time and be happy.
Yeah, that would be
not a lot of those.
Be a nice ghost story. It'd be like, not a lot of those, not any of those.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you one.
Don't know of any of them. So it's always like an axe murder or little girl fell out of a hayloft or Civil War and jeez.
Died in a fire. And
Civil War
horrible.
has there's some stories there's some episodes we could do as more of a historic type episode.
Yeah.
On the Civil War and the Revolutionary War too. Just as how gruesome some of the stuff was. Battle of Gettysburg is still, to this day, one of the deadliest acts of war in history.
It's too sad.
I forget how many people died, but even like the bullets that they were using. Have you ever seen one of those? Nightmarish. It's cast lead, and they figured out in some time between the Revolutionary War and the Civil War how to make rifling in the barrels.
Yeah.
And so if you look at them, they've got like these kind of funny looking grooves on them that will catch on the rifling of those barrels and twist, so they're supposedly more accurate. Not really, but they're like 52 caliber, 51 caliber, or something or another. They're big. It's not
just nightmare material.
Yeah. So like, because they're slow too, right? Like compared to modern technology of bullets and not pointy, they're like really,
they just like smash through you.
Blunt ended. So yeah, they like, whenever they hit, it's just like bones completely shatter.
Not that I want to get hit by any bullet. No. But if I had to pick, it would not be a Civil War era bullet.
No, it's like no good. There's a lot of mass behind those bullets. Even relatively slow as they are, it's like it just tears apart flesh and bone and destroys everything. And it wasn't even necessarily because of, I guess to a certain extent, it's lack of technology on how to heal wounds back in the day, but a large part of why they amputated so many is because that's just the only thing you could do with it. Like,
because it was just like bones were splintered and shattered.
Yeah, there's no way to repair any of that. So
talk about something else. That's too sad.
You ever seen the ones where people get hit with cannons?
Let's talk about something else. That's too sad.
Cannonballs are bigger. Just yes. Did you see any new flowers today?
Yeah.
New plants.
One of my students gave me a flower on Friday, and I planted it in my front yard.
Nice.
And a hedgehog planter out there.
I'm gonna shoot it with a
please don't
Civil War flintlock.
So we didn't have any like potting soil, but I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there because I can't keep plants alive. So I was just digging up dirt in my backyard with this little tiny camping shovel. Yeah. And my nice, sweet, lovely neighbor, who was so kind, came over and she said, "Hey, do you want some potting soil?" Because she saw me just digging this hole in my backyard. I said, "That would be great." And she brought us a whole bag so I could plant that little flower. I was like, "Thank you so much."
Here's something funny about bullets from Civil War era.
No, move on.
Have you ever heard of those blunderbuss things that pirates use or whatever?
I don't know.
They have like a big end to them, and if they ran out of ammo, they would just shove silverware in them, like whatever they could find.
Oh my god!
It's like the dumbest thing ever. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. But you could imagine like a pirate, eye patch, parrot, beard with the bead and stuff, and he's like, "Tally ho!" and forks just.
Oh my god! That's like cartoonish.
Also, Blackbeard. I want to do an episode on Blackbeard, but did you know that he would burn stuff, this kind of stuff in his beard, under his coat and his beard and stuff, and tie these things to his beard and burn them so it made him look like the devil, and he would like smoke. Ugh. He would smoke up and be flamey looking in his beard, and he's cool. So
he's cool.
So cool.
He was bad.
So cool. We haven't even done the episode. We don't even know if he's bad yet. That's what the media wants you. The liberal media wants you to know.
Shut up.
Blackbeard's
You're so
bad. Or I don't know. For all I know,
bad, and the moon is hollow.
What if it was though? Like, what if?
Then I would owe you an apology.
I don't believe that. Just for the record, you wouldn't necessarily owe me an apology. But what if we found out like that theory that
it is
it is just like an alien satellite. It's like You what?
Eat crow when you're wrong and you have to like say you were wrong.
Why would you eat a crow?
It's a figure of speech. Read a book.
Burn.
I'm just joking.
Read a book. Jeez. That really hurt my feelings. You know I don't read books.
I know. That's why I said it.
Jeez.
All right. We made it to 45 minutes. That's not bad considering the circumstances.
Thanks for listening. This has been Country Roads Creeps. If you love us, leave us a 5-star review on wherever you're listening. Whatever. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Country Roads Creeps. And this is the last one confirmed, right? That we're pre-scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay, so
next episode after this, we'll be back in like real time or realer time.
Because this is usually the section where we do like our business meeting, the Country Roads Creeps business meeting. But
timeline's off right now because this is filmed months ago.
I don't know what I'm gonna do
months ago, I mean.
whenever we come back, but I guess it'll be a me episode.
Yeah.
And so we like, and I'm saying when we come back, as in like from the time that the listeners are hearing this, it'll just be normally
two weeks.
The same 2 weeks.
But for us, it's the whole summer.
Yeah, for us,
that
it's
we're
like
taking off.
2 or 3 months. It's like what, 15 weeks, 14 weeks. So
like that, yeah.
But so we'll see you. But I do have a surprise for everyone. So, and it's that I'm pregnant too. Just
a miracle.
Yes. So imagine if I came back with a baby also.
That'd be hilarious.
I was like, here's mine. You're like, where'd you get that? I found it.
Found it. Don't worry about it.
Where you can't just take baby. What? It was at the park. Nobody around.
Stop. Wrap it up.
All right. Be safe driving home. Watch over the not deer.
Bye. We're coming back with a little baby. And Shane's coming back from a fishing trip.
I'm going to bring back a fish. Swaddle the fish.